Sure, I was in the Navy for 11 years, commissioned prior to Desert Storm, graduated from the Naval Academy in 1980, served on a nuclear-powered guided missile cruiser out of Norfolk, and then a nuclear-powered guided missile cruiser out of San Diego, made deployments to the Mediterranean, Western Pacific, third tour as a flag lieutenant on a cruiser-destroyer Group 1 staff, and I was on a frigate, USS Cook, FF-1083, in San Diego when Desert Storm broke out. Bush had built a coalition of dozens of countries that supported his actions and, in fact, participated in the actions militarily. He was acting pursuant to a United Nations resolution and a congressional resolution authorizing the armed response. Generally, I would think the sentiment was positive.
Also conducted a very heavy bombing campaign, and many people questioned why the extensive bombing campaign. This is the reason why. It was necessary to reduce these forces down to a strength that was that made them weaker, particularly along the front line barrier that we had to go through.
Well, the U.S. had a very large buildup. I guess it's still referred to as Operation Desert Shield. They positioned multiple Army units, Air Force squadrons, naval units, and built a pretty formidable force before the start of hostilities, all the while trying to get Saddam Hussein to peacefully withdraw from Kuwait. When that didn't happen, the United States and its allies launched a 2-month air war, which eliminated the Iraqi Air Force as a threat and degraded their defenses and did some considerable damage to their ground forces in preparation for the start of the ground war. Well, those troops that were retreating were still combat troops. They were retreating, but they weren't trying to surrender, so they were legitimate targets. My reaction was I was glad that those troops wouldn't be around to kill any Americans or our allies if the war were to progress. There were some sort of gruesome pictures that came out of that, but I think it just brought the war to people that weren't familiar with it, and maybe they had some off-putting reactions to it. Well, in retrospect, that's probably easy to criticize him, and maybe there's some validity to that. But President Bush was operating pursuant to a United Nations resolution which authorized evicting the Iraqis out of Kuwait. It didn't authorize invading Iraq or deposing Saddam Hussein. It might have been helpful if the peace that was negotiated included getting Hussein out of there, in a nonviolent way, but it just didn't happen, and we saw the result of that with President Bush's son came into office, years later.